Welcome to the Exercising Depression podcast and YouTube channel. My name is Claire, your host, and today we'll be talking about lifting weights. Now this week I'm going to be talking a little bit more about my gym. I know I talk about the gym quite often, but I'm going to go a bit more in depth into the reasons and the things I actually do. Before that, I have a few sort of housekeeping things to do. First of all, my cat is in the room with me at the moment, so if you hear or see her making a fuss, that's because she's here. This is where I actually record my vlogs, or used to record my vlogs for my day job, and she is very much included in that. So she thinks she's either working, which means that she gets a treat, but I'm sorry Rags, you are sadly mistaken. Now for those of you who are new here, or you haven't really seen my last episode, I've now decided to vlog alongside my podcast. Now this is just something, for the reason is that I would quite like to get a wider audience. My podcast is doing very well at the moment, and I did used to vlog. I used to have a personal channel, and I used to love it actually. I also, like I said, I vlog for a living, and I also adore it. So I have my studio here, which is where I'm recording now, so hopefully the quality of the recording is a lot better than my last video / recording. I listened back to the podcast and the recording really wasn't very good, so for that I can only apologise. The setup is now this. I'm in my studio, which is set up properly for vlogging and recording. The acoustics are so much better than my study, which is very echoey, and yeah, so I've got new equipment and I've got new setup, and hopefully we'll settle back into this very well. So like I said, today I am going to be talking about weightlifting. Now I've spoken about the gym a few times, quite a few times actually. It's kind of the whole point of my podcast is mental health and fitness, but I'm lifting weights a lot more than I used to. I actually have a personal trainer who I've mentioned a couple of times, but obviously don't mention enough. So Jordan, that's just for you. He's a great trainer actually, and we are doing some great work, I think. We are, at the moment I am focusing solely on my squatting, because it's my weakest sort of area of lifting, and I want to be able to be very, very good at it. I do see Jordan once a week, usually, if it works out. I see him once a week and we work on my squats, and I think we've been doing that about 5 or 6 weeks, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, but the exciting thing is, unfortunately, just for the YouTube channel, not the podcast, obviously, it is a podcast so you can't see anything, but I have some footage that I took from my last personal training session with Jordan, on me working on my squats. Sort of the warm-ups that I do, how I do it, how Jordan is sort of training me through getting better at my squats, and also a little bit of an added bonus for you guys, you get to see me stack it a bit actually. I went down and basically couldn't get back up. I'm kind of glad I actually got that on record actually, because when it comes to journeys, especially in fitness, showing just the positives and showing just the good things doesn't help anybody, I don't think. I recently had a conversation on Twitter with, I'm really sorry, I can't remember your name, and I don't have any of my rectangles with me to check that, but she has a podcast, and we were talking very, very briefly about being mental health advocates. Now, I like to see myself as a mental health advocate, and she said that she gets a lot of flack when she shows the really bad parts of having mental health problems. People expect of advocates to only have the positives, and that's just, in my opinion, it's just BS. I mean, you can't expect someone to be a mental health advocate and only show the good things. Yes, you should show your triumphs, and yes, you should show the things that you overcome, but you should also show the downfalls as well, because mental health and mental illnesses, it's not all good. In fact, it's more bad than it is good, and it's so much more rewarding and so much more, showing so much more strength, and you can see from the pits that you've come from to the peaks that you get to. It's just as important to show you the good thing. In fact, I think it's more important, honestly. So, sort of a long segue, I'm saying, yes, you get to see, if you're watching the vlog, you see me fail, but I was initially, like, in the moment afterwards, I was very upset and very annoyed. But then Jordan, who is always such a good trainer, he was just saying, Nana, it's you know, it's a good thing, you know, you've got to show the arc, you've got to be at the rock bottom before you can get right back up again. And it totally makes sense. Like, I went on to get back, I got back onto the weight that we were doing, which was oh god, I can't remember, 57.2. If that's wrong, Jordan, I'm sorry. I think it's 57.2, which is the most I've squatted successfully. I did try 60 once and I just managed it, but it was a bit hairy. So I'm working up to 75. That is my goal. Obviously, eventually I'm going to, well, Jordan and I have already decided that I'm going to be squatting 100. He's very friendly and very approachable, but he's also very encouraging and can be hard on you when you only need to be, and that's what I need. I need someone who to be friendly with me, but not like too soft on me, because I'm always soft on myself, and if I have someone else there that's soft on me, then I just won't ever hit any personal bests or hit any goals, and that's not why we do this at some point. So my first goal is 75, sorry, and then we're going on to 100 because I'm going to beast it, and with the help of Jordan, who is a very classy lad. And I know that I'm sort of joking around and stuff, and we do joke around, you'll see in the video, we do joke around a lot, but he definitely knows his stuff, and he is one of the best trainers I've ever come across.
Now drive the knees out. Alright. Shoot straight up. Pull that down. 3 pulses and shoot up. 3, yeah. Just chill out.
So, why do I do this? Well, I've probably been powerlifting, well, lifting, I'm not sure quite the difference between the two just yet. I've been lifting, I think, from about last May or June, I think. I have on my Instagram somewhere probably a picture of me having my first personal training session, I think, but I don't know when exactly it was. All I know, it was sometime early-ish last year, or mid last year, and it wasn't with Jordan, actually it was with Will. Actually, if you've been listening to the podcast since the beginning, you'll know about Will, because he was my trainer either during the first part of my podcasting or just before, because he actually stopped personal training and he's gone on to other things, and that's why I have Jordan, because Will left. I didn't have anyone for a few weeks and it was awful, I hated it. But I have documented this on my podcast, so if you guys want to listen to that, please go ahead and listen. I'm sure it's in one of the gym updates or something. So yeah, so Will went on to pastures new. I was left floundering for a few weeks, and Jordan, I'd seen around the gym as a trainer, and I eventually asked him, is there any trainers that do powerlifting? Because Will actually told me if I wanted to get Jordan to be my trainer, I would have to say the P word, I'd have to say powerlifting, because that would really pique his interest. So I did, and he said that he does powerlifting, has some excellent credentials as well, and so we started doing that, and we've been training for a while together now. Again, on my On my Instagram, I'm sure there is a picture or a post or something that alludes to having my first PT session before, like, after losing, not having Will. So I'm not 100% sure right now off the top of my head how long it's been, but it's been a while, I think. And like I said, I tend to see him once a week. I've also started a lifting class called Ladies Can Lift, which is excellent. That's Jordan's brain baby, and he's the one that does it. I actually have that on this Friday, which will be today actually, because I'm going to put this out on Friday. I know it's not too long after my first vlog / introduction to the podcast and the vlogging, but the video and the quality is so not good. I don't want people to think that that's what this is all about. I want them to know that it's this quality, so hopefully it's good quality. I was late to the class last week. My podcast went up and the vlog went up the same day that I was late to my class, so yeah, sorry Jordan. I got the time wrong, even though he told me like loads and loads of times, and I believe him. I'm just pretty sure I probably forgot or wasn't listening, so it's all on me, dude, sorry. So yeah, getting back to why I powerlift. Well, I started powerlifting, or lifting in general. I'd done a little bit of it maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, and I remember doing deadlifts and it hurting so much the days afterwards. I was like, I don't think I'm cut out for this, so I just stopped and carried on doing normal gym stuff. That petered out and I stopped going to the gym. But I've always been interested in weightlifting. When I first got back into gym, I'd see people on Instagram, women especially, who were powerlifting, and it looked really fun, if I'm honest. And reading testimonials from people saying that, like, how strong they felt and how good it made them feel, and it's not something I've felt like before, if I'm honest. Like, feeling strong has never been something I've ever felt. Back when I was younger, especially sort of late teens, early 20s, I was amazingly underweight. I had an eating disorder and I was tiny, so I was not strong at all. And then I put on weight, I got quite depressed. Not because of that, it's all intertwined, it's crazy. Anyway, I put on a lot of weight, was not strong in the slightest. And it's always something I've always wanted to feel. I've always wanted to feel strong. It's always been something I've been quite passionate about feeling. So I started on boot camp, and Will was the guy, and I just said to him one time, do you do personal training? I'd really like to start lifting. And he was, and he is, and he was my trainer for a while. I remember when I first started lifting, I absolutely found it quite difficult, but the rush I had afterwards, especially if I'd had a session, like an hour session that I'd had with Will, and I was aching, like, it felt so good. And it turns out that, like, I was making a lot of headway quite quickly. By this time I'd started losing weight through boot camp, through intermittent fasting, and now through weightlifting. Like, because weightlifting, actually, you burn loads more calorie weightlifting than people actually think you do. You can burn like 3 times the amount of calories weightlifting than you do cardio, which is a big myth. I think like cardio is better, but I'm no expert, so I'm not going to weigh in on that, because I'll get people coming at me in the comments, and I'm not saying that I'm in any way an expert. It's just things that I've been told. So I started doing powerlifting, and I noticed not only was I losing weight, but I was getting some definition in my body, like my legs, my arms, my back. And I remember, actually, it was really strange. I kind of figured out that I was losing weight by accident, which is really weird. I don't like looking at myself in the mirror, especially too close, especially if I don't have much on, like if I'm on my underwear or whatever. So I don't take into consideration, I don't notice the way I look. And it was when just before, I think, I threw a baby shower for my friend. Me and my friends threw a baby shower for our other friend, who was also having a baby. And she said, wow, you've lost so much weight. And I was like, oh, have I? So I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh, yeah, I suppose I have. And I weighed myself the first time in a very long time. And I was absolutely astounded by how much weight I'd lost. I'd lost like 6 kilos. And I was like, whoa, I had no idea. So, like, clearly what I'm doing is helping. So, yeah, like I said, I carried on powerlifting. So going on from what I was saying about feeling strong, now from then on I have been powerlifting, lifting and training almost, you know, on a regular basis. And when you hit a PB, when you hit a personal best, especially it's one that you feel like you've really tried very, very hard to do, that feeling is unparalleled for me. It's a feeling of strength, but it's not just like physical strength, which is obviously an amazing feeling, but it's a feeling of inner strength that I've not felt ever, I don't think. I've had many struggles in my life. I have a few diagnoses of mental illnesses, mental health problems, and feeling strong, it never came into the equation because I thought, and still do to an extent, that, you know, I have all these things wrong with me and I have all these issues. I am not a strong person. I am very much not so much a weak person, but I have my problems. So feeling strong was such a new thing for me. It almost completely eradicated my anxiety and my paranoia when it comes to going to the gym. I mean, I've had a couple of slip-ups here and there, maybe one or two in the past year, but you know, I can go to the gym, like the big gym that I go to that's got all the weights, and where I have my personal training sessions, and it's a big gym, there's loads of weight machines there, there's so much, it's a great gym, honestly, it's brilliant, but I can go in there by myself, you know, and go to the deadlifting section, or go to the squat rack or whatever, and be more than comfortable doing my thing there, like whether I'm the only woman in there when there's like, you know, 10, 15 dudes. First of all, it's a misconception, I think, that people who go to the gym are like mean and nasty people. I've only ever had friendly encounters at the gym, except for certain instances when it includes school children, but I'm not going to go into that. That's for another episode. And it's far too complicated to go into right now. But for the most part, sort of 90% of the time, I can walk into the gym and be perfectly happy by myself, first of all, and second of all, like doing what I love doing, which is lifting weights. Like, I love it so much. Like, I get so much out of it. Like, I go to the gym very regularly with my mum, and we tend to do cardio because I'm training very slowly for a 10k, which will be in January, February, March, April, May. In May, I think. So I need to be able to run 10k by May. But anyway, but when I go to the gym by myself, I tend to do either core stuff, so like ab stuff, like crunches, that kind of thing, or weightlifting. And more often than not, weightlifting or training around weightlifting. So using some of the weight training machines, like leg extensions and stuff. And this is not something I ever thought would be a reality for me. Going anywhere by myself is always something very scary for me personally. But going to the gym, I have this new strength inside me that's not, like I said, it's not just physical, but it's mental as well. Like, I can go in. I mean, I've had days where I've been like, I do not want to leave the house, or if I had to travel to the gym on my bike, which is I do most of the time, it's 12-minute cycle away. It's just the next town over. I don't want to do this, but I want to go to the gym because I need to go there and do whatever training I need to do, but also, you know, I need that good feeling. I need to feel good, and more often than not, I'm able to overcome that anxiety or that paranoia, and I'm better for it. I have a really good session at the gym, and I feel good, you know, despite my earlier fears. Now, I'm not saying it always happens. Sometimes my anxiety does get the better of me, and I'm like, nope, can't even leave the house today. It's not worth it. I get very stressed at the concept. Here's my cat. Hey Maxie, just say hi. Yes, you guys. So you guys watching, here's my cat. And if you guys watch my vlogs that I do for my work, you're very familiar with her. So, hi. You think you're working, don't you? Good girl. Go on, get down. Go on, get down. Good girl. I imagine she'll probably be here with me most of the time now, because she likes this room, because this is where she gets treats. But anyway, I'm totally going off subject now. So what are my goals for powerlifting and weightlifting? Well, I really want to be able to compete at some point. Whether I do that this year, I'm not sure. Jordan is very much behind me on this, and he says yes, I will be competing this year. That's his confidence in me, which I absolutely love. It's priceless. So thanks, Jordan, for that. That is brilliant. You won't actually see him, I don't know if I mentioned, but the footage that will be on my vlog, whether you've seen it or not already, I'm not sure. I might just intersperse it in the middle as like a little bit of a break. You will actually see Jordan, and I do have his consent to be on the vlog, so so yeah, you will see him, and like I said, I mentioned him quite a lot actually, which he always enjoys, so hi again, Jordan. So I'd like to be able to compete. I'd like to hit some of my new PBs, like my deadlifts, which is what I'm working on in the lifting class actually. It's so much fun. It's a great class. So my deadlift PB, my deadlift like goal is 110 at the moment. No, it's not. I'm lying. I can lift 110. My goal is 120. Sorry. So I can lift 110 and my goal is 120 at the moment. Obviously that will go up. We'll see. I think Jordan said I've got 3 more weeks on deadlifts, so we'll see how that goes. My squats, I've said for my initial is 75 and then up to 100 at some point. And then I'm going to try bench. Now I've not done much bench. I've done maybe 2-3 sessions on bench, and I think I'm going to do like 33 or something. To do bench, I'd like to be able to bench maybe, I'll aim for 50 first, and then maybe we'll see where that goes. So yeah, bench would be great. But I want to continue with this training. Like, I want to get better and better, and I'm still not quite at my body weight and body shape goal just yet. I think I've got about 6 kilos to go that I want to lose. I want a flat tummy because I don't have one of them at the moment. I'm plateauing at the moment and it's very frustrating. I would go into that a bit more, but again, I think I'll probably do another episode on that because I don't want this to be complicated and, you know, all over the place. So yeah, I think I've touched enough on why I lift at the moment and why I enjoy powerlifting. There are so many people that I follow on Instagram and see at the gym, but also there's loads of women. Like, I think powerlifting in women is becoming so popular at the moment, and I hope it continues because it's absolutely fantastic. I have people I talk to on Instagram, I have people I follow obviously, and we talk about, you know, lifting and stuff, and it's really something that I didn't realise I'd get so passionate about. But it's like a bug. Like, if you ever have been in my shoes where you've started lifting, you get bit by something and you just become obsessed with it, but in a good way. Like, I know some people can obviously, you kind of get obsessed with certain things in a bad way, and that's like anything, like running, cycling, whatever. You can sort of get to that point where it's a bad obsession and not a good obsession. But yeah, I want to be able to record my sessions a lot more, so hopefully with me doing this vlogging, you guys will be able to see me training as well as like hearing me talk about it, because that's just great. I mean, I have all the equipment to do that, so yeah. And Jordan, again, I must have been name dropped in like loads. I'm sure you're not that bothered about. He's great at being my cameraman while I'm at the gym, especially when I'm on the leg extension machine and shouting and making noises and faces, which I'm sure you'll see if you're watching the vlogs. So I think I'm probably going to leave that here. I have a few interviews lined up for my podcast. I want to really focus on this podcast and this vlogging channel quite seriously now, just because I enjoy it so much and I think it does a lot of good, this kind of thing. I've had a few emails recently, and I've finally been able to email people back. So if you emailed me a while ago, you've got a reply from me now, so thank you very much for getting in contact with me. I also I have a review. Someone wrote a review. I think it was on Apple Podcasts. It's called Ryan. I don't have it with me at the moment because I couldn't get onto it on my iPad for some reason, so I'm going to do a bit more digging and see if I can find that review. It's on my computer. If I have to write it down word for word, I'll even do that, because I was absolutely over the moon when I got this. I actually don't think the review, it was not very recent. I think it's from like September last year, so I'm really sorry if you're still listening, Ryan. Thank you so much for that review, but it was a 5-star review and you wrote some really lovely things about me. So next episode, if I can either write it out or And remember, I will be reading that review out and giving you a bit more of a shout out, so thank you so much. I seriously, like, it's amazing to get, that's my first written review, I think, so thanks so much. I was gushing a bit because it was so cool. I have a few other people lined up. I've got a few other podcasters who I'm going to be interviewing, thanks to Reddit, so stand by for those kind of things. I will be talking to JP again soon. I've been trying to organise it for this week, but this week just seems to have just gone, so hopefully next week I'll be able to get JP back on, because everyone loved it when he was on my show once before, I think. I've been on his a couple of times too, and everyone seems to really like him. I do. I like him very much. He's a great guy. So watch your space, guys. There are going to be some fun podcast interviews coming up. Yeah. So thank you all for watching, thank you all for listening. If you feel like it, I really appreciate it if you guys gave me some 5-star reviews and write reviews for me on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Breaker. Just that this podcast is available on like 9 platforms, so whatever you're listening to on this, please feel free and please do give me a review, because it'll help me, my listing go up, so more and more people can find my podcast/vlogs. So yeah. Thanks so much for joining me for Exercise and Depression episodes, and I will see you and you will hear me in my next episode. Thanks, guys. Bye. And yeah, hard as always. PB though, so that's good. We're working up to something. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, knackered now. Bye.